We're down at the number 1 end. This is the end that the pilot is totally gone, the end sill is totally gone, but it does help us because it gives us some details that we won't be able to tell until we start digging in. As you can see, there are long longitudinal sills, approximately 30 feet long, that go from one end of the car to the other. They're made of southern yellow pine, and they're in various conditions. The Atlantic shore, somewhere along the line, had to splice here and there. This is a piece that they had to lay on. There's one over here on the other side there, as there was a bit of rot. But I think basically they're in good shape, and especially in the areas where they were sheltered in the center. We were having trouble getting the dimensions here, and I had to look in the center of the car, and you could see they're basically 4 3/4 by 12 inches high and 30 inches long. On the end you have tenons, which was a standard way of building, mortise and tenon. There probably was a second one. This is the only one that has, oh no, there's another one. Here it has one here. And so you have to, on the cross sill, you have to dig out the mortise, which goes over this. It helps hold the whole thing together. And then here are the long rods that go from one end of the car to the other that basically tie the whole thing together, especially important in the center where you pull with the coupler. And these are 1 3/8 inches in diameter, which is not a standard size. Well, maybe it's 1 1/4. 1 1/4, I guess, which is standard size. We're going to figure it out because I think we're going to need some new nuts on the end here. Hopefully they're not too bad. I think we'll be able to use them. Down here you have a bracket. This is quite a rugged thing that was forged up there in Laconia, New Hampshire, where this car was built. They had big heavy hammers that they used to bend this whole structure. It's bolted to the sill in the center here. It's tied in, there's another bolt that's missing here, tied into the big coupler block that sits on here. And of course this is what got all the yanking. You can see the coupler pocket. Well, it's not there. Forget that. Back about 40 years ago, one of our members got a piece of, I think this is spruce or hemlock, and replaced the sill on this side, which was totally gone. This is not correct. It's too wide, and we will end up having to replace it with a new piece. Now, one of the ideals would be to try to replace it exactly as it was originally, with a nice solid piece of beautiful straight southern yellow pine going from one end to the other. Well, unfortunately that is going to be very difficult because that kind of wood is almost impossible to get, and even 100 years ago they were starting to have trouble getting it, and that's one of the reasons why they had to build steel cars, because they couldn't get the wood that they needed. You know, you're going to have fun editing this thing. I don't want it to be too easy for you. These sills that run from one end of the car to the other are about 4 3/4 inches wide, 12 inches high. I should point to this one, which is still solid, and 30 feet long. That kind of wood in that dimension